Okay, this is it. This is what I think for Hemet, for our guild. Now let's do it for the general population. Okay, the average 10 man, but I want to do it for the average 10-man guild that steps into here. So we're not talking about a pug, because I think a pug will massacre. Or not, they won't. They will get killed. Right? A pug just won't survive beyond the first boss. So let's just do the average 10-man guild. They step into TOT. What can you expect? Are you excited for mage nerfs, Rokai, fellow mage player? Are you super excited for the nerf mage? Perhaps buff frost so it's the top spec and fun is eliminated? Don't speak that bad juju into my life ever again. I, I hate frost, dude. No. Do not. Okay, meanwhile, I'm gearing an Ellie Shaman because mage is about to get bricked so bad. I'm not excited for the mage nerfs. I really am not. Because it's already useless in 10 man. I need it to do more damage than everything else to be worth bringing. Oh, I hate Frost. Okay. Average 10 man guild steps into TOT. How hard are the bosses? What can they expect? Fire does sim crazy style. It's like 350k DPS. But that's in full bis. That's in full bis for next tier. It sims like crazy. Okay. Average 10 man steps in. I This is by far the easiest boss. And it's not even close. But I don't know if for the average 10 man it's free. Like, would it just be easy, or do you think every guild in the world, like, sub 5 pulls this thing? I don't know if we're talking about week one, like, because it's hard, because the further you go into the tier, the more gear everybody has, like, just the further down the list you can bump some of these things. I would say, like, let's do it in, like, the first 2 weeks. Yeah, I think the average guild's probably going to do normal first, yeah. Let's just, like, let's assume it's on heroic, and let's assume it's in, like, the first 3 or so weeks that it's out. Although it's hard to say, right? Like, it's a tier list, right? It's mostly a meme. It's hard to be super accurate with that. But try to get a rough. My boomer guildies, everything is very hard. Done. There you go. Tier list is over. Here we go. it's in there. Tier list complete. Oh, can I move it? Yeah, I can. I can get out of here. Yeah, I think they just blast. Okay, I'm gonna say Jin'Rokh still ends up in free. There's not a lot of mechanics. There's not a lot of healing. You get a damage amp, and the fight ends fast. Mm, yeah, the 10 man I'm playing with till next week is going to struggle. Yeah, yeah, your average 10 man's gonna get blasted by this, I think. But it's a great raid. It's a great raid. Like, it's incredibly fun, but it's harder than anything else we've experienced for sure. I'm gonna put him in free tier still, but I think it's gonna be the only thing that's in here. Low mechanics, it's got a damage amp, there's not a whole lot of throughput required. It does have two, like, insta wipe the raid mechanics, so there's some personal responsibility, but I still think it's free enough. All right, Horridon. I think Horridon I think Horridon gets eviscerated, or your average guild gets eviscerated. Unfortunately, there's, like, no high tier 10 man right now. I'm offended. I'm offended. I'm officially offended. Kidding. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But you're right. It's like high end 10 man sounds funny because, like, all of like the people who really take classic seriously are doing 25 man. Oh, hello, Guru. that are looking for people, you're exactly right. I don't abuse you guys. You abuse me, if anything. Okay. Yeah, I think Horridon just stomps people. From each gate getting progressively harder, having multiple interrupts, large cleave damage, large healing requirement, a soft enrage, and the pink dinosaur that will one-shot people if they don't micromanage it. There's personal responsibility, there's interrupts, there's tank positioning, there's a front a frontal and a tail swipe every couple of seconds. Dispels, multiple off DPS specs having to dispel. Yeah, I think this claps people, right? Well, sorry, nerfing should have done better. I don't know what to tell you. I killed my predecessor. True, kind of. Yeah, I think Horridon just walks all over guilds. There's just a lot happening. Like, I think this would be a hard boss even if you removed the dinosaur, like the small pink fixate. And then when you add that back in, I think it's just over. I think it's just over. Council. Average 10-man guild steps into council. It's not easy. No way it's easy. Is it going to be harder or easier than Horridon? Is kind of the thought process. It's like, because really what? There's two scary parts of the fight. It's Frostbite is scary when empowered, and then the damage reflect is scary. Like if I was talking to a guild, would I say which of these bosses should you progress first? Yeah, it's got to be council because it's just a couple of interrupts. You toss a ball around, you dodge a charge. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's council. I think council's easier. Like you can control the damage going out on the reflect by just doing less damage. You have to target swap a little bit, but it's mostly a cleave fight. You can 2 or 3 heal it and kind of just live through it. Like I think if you 3 healed this fight, even though you're gonna get like double the amount of empowered mechanics, it's not as hard as Horridon. I think. All right. Tortos. All right, so this was easy for us. I think the spirit shell mechanic makes the boss really easy. The DPS requirement on the small like baby turtles that come spinning out Beyblade style is hard. We did abuse a comp change though, you're right. Like and we have to probably assume people don't have that flexibility. Because it's a 3 heal fight. There's pretty high HPS required. You have to use the shield mechanic. You have to have high DPS on all the ads in order to not insta wipe to the raid, and even we mess that up sometimes. I I would have a hard time saying that it's more difficult than Council. I don't think yeah, the comp change did make it like from impossible to easy. I agree with that. I would have a hard time saying it's easier than Council though. I think or harder than Council. I think it's still easier than Council. I feel like the asterisk on like all of these is it depends on your comp. Like some of these fights are going to be really really easy if you have the right comp, and otherwise it's going to feel impossible until you have like 4 more weeks worth of gear. It's like how do you judge that? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to say it's easier than Council. That's final answer. Um, Magaera. Is it very hard? I think so. I think this is very hard. Yeah, Nova agrees. Okay. I'm gonna keep it a buck 50. I think Council is way harder than Horridon. You could easily mess up on Council within the first 30 seconds of the fight, versus Horridon, where the third door is the scariest, and when you get past that, it's basically free. Mm, I think you just described two fights with opposite difficulty curves. I agree with you. Council is hardest in the first minute, and Horridon, like, well, maybe not. Let me think this through. Horridon slowly ramps in difficulty, and then the difficulty goes away. Like, door one is eh. Door two is kind of hard. Door three is definitely very hard. But then, like, once you're done with all the doors, it's actually very easy. And, like, the end, like, Lust and Burn on the boss is free. I agree with that. And then you look at Council, the first minute of the fight is, like, borderline impossible. You're going to wipe a million times in the first 30 seconds to a minute. But then once you kill that first boss, I think the fight gets a lot easier and easier and easier and easier. So, like, you might end up with the same pull count on the bosses, but, like, each of your pulls on Horridon was 7 or 8 minutes long, and each of your pulls on Council was a minute long. No, we're doing 10 man only. Yeah, 10 man only. I think 25 man, many of these bosses are infinitely easier. Um, yeah, it's hard to say. They could be equal in different ways. It's mostly you got all these solo. I think if you logged into retail, you could probably get them solo. I agree with that. I agree with that. That's the fun of them. 10 man difficulty, dude. Exactly. 10 man is harder than 25 man by a pretty good jump, in my opinion. Though I haven't tested 25 man, I just watched it, obviously. But, like, I think it's a pretty big difference. Yeah, Magaera. It's everything. You need a ton of damage. You need infinite amounts of healing. You need your range DPS and healers to have insane movement coordination. You need crowd control, misdirects, interrupts on ads. Your tanks have to be self-sufficient to a certain degree. There's a tank swap. I don't know anything about tanks, but I know our tanks are very good, and they were getting mauled alive on this fight. I'm just gonna say most 10 mans until they're like 2 or 3 months into the tier are not killing this boss. This thing is gonna mess people up. Yeah, magic hurt is right, Guru. This fight is gonna destroy people. I think it'll take a long time to kill Magaera for every guild. So we were. Does anybody know our pull count? Were we like 40 pulls on this boss? Something like that? I think we were 40-ish pulls on this boss on testing. It was a tough one. Okay. He's Flashbang. Shout out to Adblock. Putting work in. Okay. Here we go. Back to it. Ji-Kun. Ji-Kun for the average guild. Okay, here's the question. Do we assume that they have the Foji Weakaura? If Foji Weakaura, easy. If no Weakaura, hard. How do you rate this? He's like, if you have the Weakaura that just tells your players where to be at all times, I feel like this fight's actually so easy. Like, genuinely so easy. Medium. Some will, some won't. You're right. I need, like, a disclaimer on every video that I make, which is just like, get the Foji pack. It's worth $5. What monitor am I using? This is I have an MSI monitor. I forget the brand. It's a 1440p 165 hertz HDR monitor. Um, I could get the model for you here in just a second. I mean, his soaking thing was not even up last time. Yeah, it was super bugged. But like, assuming it's not bugged, does that even make it hard? I don't think so. I'll put it in medium for the sake of argument. I think this fight is solved by weak auras. It's the Fractalus argument. That fight is solved by weak auras so easily. So like for the guilds that don't have it, hard. For the guilds that have it, easy. So we'll just split the difference and we'll just say that's where it's at. Let me give me 2 seconds. It is the MAG 274 QRF. What a elegant name for a monitor. MAG 274 QRF. It's a 27-inch HDR monitor, 165 hertz. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna put it in medium, and we'll see. We'll see on this round of testing how hard it really is. Um, Primordius, I think it's gonna be harder than Ji-Kun for sure for most guilds, but I don't think it's gonna be harder than Tortos. I think Tortos is infinitely harder. This has like the same level of like you need AoE damage, and there's like a tank mechanic, but like healing isn't too intense on this fight. And if your tanks are good at just running in a circle, I think you'll be fine. Right? In general. It's hard to say, though. I think medium. I think Tortos is harder. I think Council is for sure harder. It's a little bit tank dependent, but I think medium overall is the right place for it. Do I have to say anything? Please reference the spreadsheets created to try and do this boss. All of the pathing. Shout out to Mal. The hard part is finding the tanks with the stam trinket. Yeah. Yeah, I think Animus will kill entire guilds. I have prepped a ton for Dark Animus because we didn't do it last testing cycle. And we're very much going to do it this testing cycle. I've done so much prep work for Dark Animus, and I still feel like there's a chance we lose some guildies to this fight. We might just kill each other. It's hard to say. But Dark Animus is going in very hard. I thought it was an OLED screen to be that flashy. Oh, yeah, just HDR. Sorry about the flashbang, though. I do apologize. Yeah, I think the HDR whites just come through crazy. All right. Iron Con. I think it's easier than all of these. I think it's harder than Ji-Kun, though. I think it goes right here. It's not too crazy. You don't need a ton of healing. You do have to have like really smart raid movement. And there's a soften rage, but I don't think that damage check's going to be real for just how much damage we do as a player base nowadays. Like, if you have a warlock in your group, this fight becomes pretty easy. You just gate away from the scary stuff. You have a spread and stack mechanic. That's not too bad. I don't know what tanks do on this fight. I never know what tanks do, in all fairness. There's some cleave at the end. A damage shield where you can't hit him when he's tanked certain directions, but that only lasts for a few seconds. I think Iron Con's pretty easy. Especially if you gate out of the tornadoes, Iron Con's not going to be too bad. I think I skipped Durumu, though. I did. Here's the thing. It's a question mark. I think for most people, Durumu is going to be extremely hard. I'm not so much worried about the maze. I think the maze is going to be fine by most modern players. Like I don't think that's going to cause a lot of issues. I think the beams and revealing the correct ads is going to be really hard. I think marking where the ads are spawning, moving the beams to the correct spot or not moving them at all if it's the blue beam when you don't want to reveal that ad. Just like the coordination that can't, to my knowledge, be solved by a Weakaura is going to be really difficult. You need a lot of people marking things. There's a decent amount of damage going out. If you mess up, it can insta-wipe the raid. I think that one's going to be tough. I don't think the ice walls are going to matter. I'm not sure. I don't see the trash on the first or second. That's in its own tier called impossible. Yeah, the wind room will just murder everybody. Okay, that's the real question. What's gonna kill more guilds, Dark Animus or the wind bridge between boss 1 and 2? My vote is the wind bridge, because guilds are gonna disassemble before they even get to Dark Animus. The trash in TOT so far is unfun. Just like the boss fights are great, the trash in between, not a good time. You should add it. How do I add it? I have to add it. Okay, let's. Sorry, Flashbang. Throne of Thunder, Wind Bridge. Images. This is it, right? I think that's the. That looks like it. Save image as Wind Bridge, and we'll save it in pictures. Save. All right. Add additional images. Wind Bridge. There we go. And then, how do I add a new tier? Add a row above, and let's just make it purple. Oh, that's not what I meant to do, but that's okay. Bang. What do we think? Is that it? I think most people understand it's the wind bridge, right? The sewers are also from Mag to G. Oh, yes. With the snails? The snails are not fun. The wind bridge got some secret tech? No. We don't really know. You were able to mount and use like those toys to like run across it on PTR last testing. But I don't know if you're actually going to be able to on live. I think this testing will tell us a lot more. Oh, we got an Imgur link. What do we got? Please don't be a penis. It's not. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is probably the wrong bridge, but I think people get the point, right? Yeah, the yak furry thing. Like that worked on PTR. Will it work this weekend? I don't know. If it works this weekend, I would first be really surprised, and second, I would definitely agree that that bridge area is a lot easier if that works. But then the second problem to that is you need everybody in your guild to have one. Because if they don't, or I guess at the least you need like your warlock to have one. Or your warlock and like two other people, and then you can summon everybody across the bridge, right? Yeah, I think the bridge is going to murder people though. You killed it with 5 people? Oh, nice. Oh, okay, so it's easy to get. I didn't know that part. All right, well, if the bridge is murdering your guild and they allow it this testing cycle, go get the yaks. Twin consorts, very hard. This is the boss, admittedly, though, I know the least about. But I know there's like a bunch of tank juggling. There's raid positioning using like pillars as like LOS from a fire mechanic. It's got ads that have to be revealed by a tank that do passive damage in the background. There's points in time where both bosses are up. You have to use the pillars in the room for different empowerments at different times. Like, there's just a lot happening. There's a lot of mechanic overlap, and there's a lot of one-shot things. So I'm just going to toss it in very hard. I don't know if it's going to be harder than Magaera or not, just because I haven't tested it myself. But I think it for sure goes in very hard. Like, undoubtedly goes in very hard. Um, Yeah, Lei Shen you couldn't see past P1. All of the platforms were just on fire. Well, you know what I mean. Not literally on fire. Energized or lightningified. I Without anybody seeing it, I think everybody knows it's still going to be very hard. Whether or not it's going to kill guilds is a different question. I think it will be very Ragnaros-esque in the fact that you'll see many guilds not even come close to killing this for the entire duration of the tier. I think people will go into Siege of Orgrimmar no matter how much gear they get and have never killed this boss. Yeah, I saw that, Clan. I was watching Cow's stream or VOD. I didn't watch it live. I watched his VOD, and I saw that they were dealing with that, and then they chose to just go again. And then I guess assuming you get to him, Raw Den is a weird one. I'm gonna put Raw Den in easy with an asterisk, which is if you're on Raw Den, that means you killed Lei Shen. And so this is just gonna be it's just gonna be free. I don't think the boss is easy, but in order to get to it, you've had to have killed everybody else. So I'm gonna toss it in easy. Because like this is the cherry on top, right? If you've unlocked the ability to kill this boss, you're gonna be fine. All right, what do we think? This is my final thoughts for your standard 10-man guild on how hard stuff's gonna be. So like when I look at this, I'm thinking, what should you do week 1? Probably just Jin'Rokh. Week 2 and 3, all of these in medium should be approachable. And then the rest of them, you might want to wait until like a full month of TOT to start progressing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like for like the difficulty curve. Which is interesting just because like previous tiers would not have looked like this. Right? Previous tiers, you would have had one fight, maybe two in hard, and then you'd have Amber Shaper in its own tier of I hate this boss.